It is your mind. Own it. I'm Jeffrey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, coming to you again with the Gospel Truth broadcast. Welcome to you on Twitter. Welcome to you on Facebook. Sorry for that weird shadow that the phone is casting on my face. And hello to you as well on YouTube. We are talking to you tonight about your mind and the fact that you need to own it, or I want to encourage you to own it. You do need to own it, but I want to encourage you and motivate you to own it. I spent 20 years as a full-time Protestant minister in the Pentecostal realm. I have a Bible college degree, over 100,000 hours of study in the biblical scriptures. And I want to talk to you about your mind. I want to talk to you about you. I want to talk to you about who you are. I want to talk to you about where you're going. I want to explain your mind to you. And I want to do it, first of all, on biological/psychological terms. And then I want to explain your mind to you on spiritual terms. And then I want to give you the overall view. And then I want to give you a solution and a road to travel should you choose to go down it. Here's how your mind works. This is probably not new to many of you, but here's how your mind works. Your mind is a computer. Your mind really is a recording device. There's a part of your mind that from the very time that you were able to receive any stimulus, from the time that you were able to receive any data input, there's a part of your mind that has been recording it your entire essence. Some believe, and there's some proof of it, that sometimes you carry the recordings from past lives into this life. Leave that as it may be. But from the very first time within your mother's womb, when you were able to receive stimuli, it has been recorded in what is known as a LIFETRACK. Now, left unimpeded, that LIFETRACK would have record of every single stimuli that you've ever received in your entire life. And if you had access to every single bit of stimuli that you've ever received in your entire life, then your computing brain could take all of that data and nearly instantaneously give you answers to every single situation that arises in your life. And if you had 100% uncorrupted data, then you could 100% trust what I call your blink, your B-L-I-N-K, your blink, because your brain is automatically crunching the entirety of data that you've ever received in the entirety of your life and giving you the best answers based upon all the data you've ever received. And if you could have access to that uncorrupted and perfect data, you could always know what to do. You could always know what is best for you to do. You could always know what is optimal for you to do in any and every given situation. That's the physiological, psychological, physical side of things. Now, let's talk the spiritual side of things. You, me, each one of us, the Apostle John said that when we come into this system, when any and every entity that comes into this system, be it human spirit, be it ET spirit, be it interdimensional spirit, be it demon spirit, fallen spirit, archon spirit, watcher spirit, whatever spirit you want to talk about, the Christ says that when every single spirit comes into this system, our world system, they receive enlightenment. They receive the message of the Christ. the ways, the truths that lead unto life. Life more abundant, peace that passes all understanding, not as this system gives, but as the Christ gives. Every single being that comes into this system receives this download. That's what the Christ says through the Apostle John. So are you saying that there might be some demons or interdimensionals or extraterrestrials that might get and accept the message of the Christ? Absolutely. I believe there's even AIs that will eventually receive that download, processing, make sense, and follow the ways of the Christ. Again, put that to the side for a moment. What this does for you is what Christ called the comforter activation. What it does for you is reminds you of everything that the Christ said while here on earth, gives you access to everything the Christ has learned from the being he calls his Father, the inexpressible one, and gives you a hardwired access to the divine database. And if you had unfettered access to all this information, not only could you always make the best decision based upon your physicality, you could also make the best decision based upon your spirituality. So, in essence, you would be 10 feet tall and bulletproof, both in the physical, psychological, emotional, mental realm, and in the spiritual realm. You should never, ever make a decision that's wrong for you. You should never, ever take a path that is not the best for you. You should never, ever make a decision that is not the best for you. You should be locked and loaded, 10 feet tall, bulletproof, ready to rock and roll. So why aren't you? Here's why you're not. Because along with your mind that carries your LIFETRACK, along with your mind that receives the comforter activation, along with your mind that gets the access to the divine database, you have a reactive mind. Think of your analytical mind as the dove mind that Christ talked about when he said, be gentle as a dove. I wrote about it in Serpents and Doves in the Garden of the Gods. And think about your reactive mind as the serpent mind, the low serpent mind, because that's exactly what it is. Your analytical mind, if you had a perfect LIFETRACK, you can make all the right decisions. You can have all the right spiritual decisions and information. But what happens is, in times of stress, in times of pain, and especially in times where you are unconscious, your reactive mind jumps up and supersedes your analytical mind and creates what, for lack of a better term, are gaps. So in your analytical mind, from the time that you're in your womb, or perhaps some of you in past lives, till the time of this very second, you have a LIFETRACK, but you have a LIFETRACK that is filled with greater or lesser number of gaps, depending upon the traumas, the periods of unconsciousness, and the general broken down mess, self-inflicted or inflicted upon you. So the goal of life should be, if we knew how to run our minds, if someone said to you, it's your mind, own it, what they would be doing is helping you go back across your LIFETRACK, look for and identify the gaps, and remove them. Someone says, Jeff, I'm 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years old. Sounds like a lot of work. It can be. But typically, here's what happens. what a skilled person will do is to try to take you back to the earliest incident of unpleasantness that you can recall, with the goal of getting back to the first incident of pain and trauma in your entire life. Over half the time it's in the womb. And when that instance of pain and trauma is dealt with and corrected, and when that gap is removed, it has a very curious effect. It has a domino effect. And once that very first one is identified and dealt with and repaired, you will see the rest of them fall like dominoes. And all of a sudden, you will have a perfect life track. And remember what that means. If you have a perfect life track, that means that you have complete access to every stimuli that you've ever received physically and naturally, and your blink can be trusted 100% physically, naturally. It will also mean that you have a perfect comforter activation, and you have a perfect connection to the divine database. So you will never make a decision that's less than optimal for you if you have a perfect life track. Is it possible? Yes. What sort of trauma happens in the womb? That's a great question, Tiffany. Let's say that your mother turns quickly to go somewhere and hits the edge of a table, and you're jolted in the womb, knocked woozy, knocked unconscious, trauma in the womb. Let's say that your dad gets a little randy while your mom is pregnant, and there's some activities that take place that cause some jostling, that cause some trauma. Or let's say that there's an argument or a fight, and words are yelled, "You're worthless. I wish this had never happened. I wish you'd just stop. I wish you'd just go." There's a myriad of ways that trauma can happen in the womb. And that's what puts up these gaps in your analytical life track. And they have to be removed. There's not many people that have the ability to help you go through your life track, fix it, repair it, and make you 10 feet tall and bulletproof, help you make yourself 10 feet tall and bulletproof. I'm one of them, but I have been lax in my duty because, frankly, it's very, very difficult. It's very, very stressful, and it's a lot of damn work. But as I know that I have to go out on the road and do these teachings and trainings across the country, as I know I have to get out there and do some Mystech stuff once, twice, 3 times a month, as I know I have to continue to speak, have to continue to write, have to continue to make 3 to 4 videos a day here on YouTube, I also know that we're under attack and assault as never before. And I feel like I have a duty to offer these services to you, and I'm going to begin to offer them again, but I'm going to do it in a certain way. I'm going to do it exactly, Tiffany. Tiffany says, I don't know if I want to remember my mom and dad having sex and me getting banged around. Most of us don't want to remember it. That's why it creates a gap in our analytical minds. So we have to have the courage to go back and face those, work through those, mend those, repair those, and move on. And until we do it, we'll also have gap and we'll never be optimal. But that's up to you. So what I'm going to do is I believe that my schedule will allow me to work with 11 people a week, 11 maximum. It's about a 45-minute to 1 hour session. I can work with 11 people a week. 11 people a week. And usually it takes about 7 weeks to get you completely cleared up in your life track. So I'll work with 11 people for 7 weeks and then a new 11 people. And the hope is that of some of those 11 people, they'll have the desire to want to get trained to do this themselves. So then maybe next time we can work with more than 11 people at a time. But I'm going to work with the 11 people at a time. If you want to be part of the 11 people that I'm going to work with, this is what I want you to do. I want you to go to jeffreydarty.com. I want you to go to Get Help Now. I want you to read this. And if you want to be one of those 11 people, look at this and decide what you want to do. And I'm not even going to go through, well, what it is, let me just read this. Jeff Darty was a full-time minister for 20 years, heavily involved in counseling during that time. Of course, as a Bible college graduate, a lot of counseling, a lot of psychology. I have an associate's degree. I have certifications as a master practitioner of neuro-linguistic programming. I'm a certified Ericksonian hypnotist. And I have another 20 years of real-world experience across the spiritual and paranormal spectrum. I'm going to begin to do LIFETRACK analysis and repair again to help you identify, isolate, repair, and remove gaps in your analytical mind, your blink, and empower you to have a complete LIFETRACK, free yourself from troublesome memories, fears, phobias, activate your comforter activation, activate your connection to the divine database. Now, I do insist that before you get involved in the LIFETRACK analysis and repair, that you either do a palm reading or a card of truth reading. That establishes a baseline for our work together. We'll start with a free consultation. The palmistry and the cards of truth reading are on a donation basis. After that, you can see the pricing here for the 7 sessions. And what if it doesn't take 7? Well, if it doesn't take 7, good for you. We'll break that down. We'll do the math and refund your money. What if it takes more? Well, we'll do the math and just continue on at this plan here. That will give me 11 people to help. And hopefully from that, we can find some people that want to be trained and want to move on in this realm themselves. So go to jeffreydarty.com. Go to Get Help Now, read what's going on, and act accordingly. Those of you on Twitter, Facebook, you, of course, are welcome as well, but it will be hard-capped for 11 people in a 7-week period. That's just all I can do with everything else that I'm doing. You've listened to me. Let me listen to you. It is a good topic. I'm glad the timeout is finished as well. Hello in Whitby, Ontario. Hi to everyone. So glad to see you all here. You do have your own Akashic records. I don't even know if there are any real Akashic records, but you have your own in your own LIFETRACK. You do have many holes. My LIFETRACK is a bum 8-track. Many times it is. How come I forget my phone number then? Well, may I suggest that you're probably not LIFETRACK optimized. Yes, Jeff, smells, music, etc. stimulate and activate. Yes, they do. Like the Bugs Bunny episode where the brain is a cobwebby room filled with filing cabinets overflowing. That's exactly what it's like, Michelle Canham Free. You're exactly right, 100%. Thank you, Tiffany. Somebody's making an espresso. I went to Pentecostal church as a child. My mother and family are Christians. Your message is very interesting, very deep. Thank you, Lizzie. I was a Pentecostal pastor for 20 years, evangelist, actually. Jeff was not on YouTube timeout. He was obviously at a fat farm. Thank you, Mother Dragons. If only that were true. I've been looking into remote viewing. Very interesting. Bulletproof and 10 feet tall. Still digesting The Last Apostle. Good for you. It takes some digesting. The reactive mind is low. Yes, it is. Reptilians and grays are known to have some or a lot of people under mind control, especially through religion. Absolutely. By owning my mind is too much work. I wish there was a halfway point where I could delude myself if I'm in control. Guess what? You can, if you're willing to pay the price. Lots of gaps. It's a hard job, but it does have to be done. What sort of trauma happens in the womb? We already answered that one. Would you like to go over it again, Tiffany? I thought not. Mom being chronically stressed and depressed while pregnant. You'd be amazed at how many moms attempted abortions and didn't tell anybody. I'm just saying. So sick of the big box religions. Absolutely. I am too. Christians are subjects to actual real mind control. Listen to my last video about archonic Christian viruses of the mind. Back through Phoenix Rises. Dolores Cannon did this work. I'm not sure if Dolores Cannon did or not. I don't know much about Dolores Cannon. Always aiming for optimal. 11 is a number I've been seeing since 2003. The Divine Secret Garden series, we finished book 1. I'll go on to book 2. I remember lots starting at about 2.5. As long as we don't spend a lot of time on the jolting. My mom always said Dad was a hound dog. Oh, boy. I'll have to rewatch it later. Got to go. See ya, Anya. I have had so many BS prophecies in the church. Yes, absolutely. All righty, folks. So that is your mind, and I'm encouraging you to own it. So we'll work with 11 people for 7 weeks. JeffreyDarty.com. Get help now. We'll give you the what and wherefores. And there you go. Since it's early, and since Deborah L. Smith asked so nicely, let's do some Rod questions. Let's do some Rod questions. On Twitter, if you have Rod questions, let me know. I'm into low battery mode, but that's okay. I still got 20% left. If we lose you on Twitter and Facebook, forgive me. Rods, please show me yes. Rods, please show me no. All right. So, Rod's questions, let them rip. Whoops. Is Trump going to be a 2-term president? No. Interesting. Do we have any other questions? Will Trump stop chemtrailing? No. Deborah L. Smith, is my aura better? Yes. Is today's moon good for recharging your crystals? Yes. Will I be able to refinance my house soon? Asked Jonna. Yes. Dalton Gaming, you're not Rods. Any other Rod questions, ladies and gentlemen? That's not a sign when I drop the rods. Is the Christ consciousness real? Yes. Has my husband changed and can he now be trusted? Rods say no. Michelle says, have I been mind controlled? Yes. Is inner Earth a portal? Yes. If you have to ask the rods if I'm truthful in everything I say, is Jeff truthful in everything he says? Yes. Is the Mandela effect real? Yes. Has Lit T's son forgiven her? Yes. Is there a witch hunt for reptilians? Yes. Will a pole shift happen tomorrow? No. Is the sun a portal to other planets? No. I don't like to ask investing questions because I don't want to be blamed. Was it MK Ultra? No. Will the moon on the 31st multiply our intentions? Yes. Will free energy be a reality soon? No. Is I am too a reptilian? No. Has my daughter forgiven me? Rainbow White asks. No. Will Trey Gowdy become Attorney General? No. Will Mother of Dragons find her money? No. Is almond milk better than dairy milk? Yes. Is Yahweh causing the Mandela effect? Yes. Huh. Are the JWs going to plan mass deaths? No. Is there a good creator of the universe? Yes. Can the secret be trusted? No answer. We're going to ask this again. Is the Mandela effect real? Yes. That's an individual question, Dalton, I would say. Are there vampires in this chat? Look at that. Yes, there are. That's a sign that I'm playing with them. Ooh. Is the Count Saint Germain still watching our shows? Yes. The cashew milk is very, very good. Hello, Count Germain. Was John Kerry's broken leg in Antarctica under nefarious circumstances? Yeah, sort of. Any more? Your yes or no could be opposite to mine, absolutely. Alrighty then. Great to have you with us tonight. Oh, I wasn't watching the Twitter and Facebook feed. I'm sorry. Very, very sorry. But I do appreciate you being on Twitter. I appreciate you being on Facebook. I appreciate you being on YouTube. I'm here to help you guide your own spirit, master your own ascension, be your own guru. I'm here to help you ask questions and question answers. And I'm here to help you unindoctrinate yourselves.